Both Democrats and Republicans in Congress are outraged at the White House's response to the murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Now, it's abundantly clear that the Saudi crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, is the individual who ordered for the murder of Khashoggi. And earlier this week, we learned of the transcript of his murder and what his final words were and how he was essentially screaming that he couldn't breathe. Now, with all that said, Mike Pompeo, who is Secretary of the State, goes on Fox and Friends thinking that he's gonna get a softball interview because, let's face it, we all would think that he'd get a softball interview, but they actually asked him some tough questions. Take a look.
We're going to say to the House what we've said to the American people. President Trump's made very clear. The murder of Jamal Khashoggi was a tragic incident. It was heinous. It's not something that America approves of. We've already held a number of individuals accountable by putting sanctions on them. Those that we have evidence were directly involved. We'll continue to develop the facts. But America has an important ally in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, that murder was heinous, all right. It was heinous with Highness Mohammed bin Salman behind it.
That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So look, so Mike Pompeo is a bad guy and he's doing a bad guy's job, but like bottom line is Donald Trump said we're gonna let him get away with it. So yeah. I don't really know what his Secretary of State's supposed to do. Now that's the second time we've screwed up his title, Secretary of State. You said Secretary of the State, which I liked.
I did.
I like that.
I didn't even realize I said that. Sorry.
Because it's because of two things. One, it makes it sound like it's enemy of the state, and second of all, you like to add this. Maybe it's your immigrant roots.
It's the Game of the Throne. Yeah,
exactly, the Game of the Thrones. That was hilarious when we did that review. Now my dad does that because in Turkish there is no the. So they're perplexed by the, and so they add it everywhere. This is the son, the Cenk.
Yes. Okay. Now we're setting up the story for you. It starts off with Pompeo, pretending as if he's very concerned about the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. But now all of a sudden, Brian Kilmeade jumps in, and here's what he has to say, and just check out Pompeo's response to it.
But Mr. Secretary, they're the ones who are putting it in peril, not us. They're the ones who have evidently pulled this off. And when you have people like Lindsey Graham, hardly an enemy of the White House, and Bob Corker and others said this is a smoking saw, not a smoking gun. And you even have audio tapes. We know the prince knows, right? You know, you looked him in the eye. You know that he knows.
I've spoken to the King Salman. I've spoken to the Crown Prince a number of times since the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. And it is absolutely America's intent to hold everyone accountable who was responsible for this.
So that's yes, when you looked him in the eye and he denied it, did you believe him?
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia decides who's running the country. I think this is what the president said yesterday. We are working closely with the kingdom to make sure that America is protected. That's our interest.
No, but no one's having a conversation about, let's go to Saudi Arabia and change who their leaders are. Like, he totally avoided the question.
I think what he was trying to say there is, look, we're gonna work with Saudi Arabia no matter what.
That's exactly what he's saying.
And he's like, that's in our interest. Now, would we prefer that it was a different leader that was not as ill-tempered and as murderous as bin Salman? Maybe, right? But at the end of the day, we don't really care. So we can't make them change the crown prince, and we're gonna work with Saudi Arabia. So sad day, I don't care that he killed anyone. The part that I'm both amused and sickened by is the smirk on Pompeo's face.
Yes.
I'm amused because he's like, I know I'm lying, what do you want me to do? Okay, of course he did it, what do you want me to say? On the other hand, like, okay, that's the funny part. The sickening part is, they beheaded the guy and they chopped him up into pieces and carried him out on luggage, and they dismembered him with a bone saw. So could you please stop smirking?
Yeah, I feel like that smirk, even though it's disgusting, it shows how uncomfortable he is. And to answer your question from earlier, Cenk, like, well, what is he gonna do? I mean, this is what Trump wants. Trump wants to continue doing business with the Saudis. Excuse me. You know what you can do if you have a conscience? I know it's tough. Like, if you want success and you want power, this is a very difficult thing to do. You decide you don't want to be Secretary of State anymore, right? And I get that people don't want to do that because it's a power grab. It's this obsession with political success, and being Secretary of State is a big deal. But do you really want to be known for this? Do you really want to be known for helping Trump push his narrative regarding how important Saudi Arabia is for financial reasons?
Yeah, and so of course it's a great point. And by the way, a lot of people have left the Trump administration. Some were fired, but some left because they couldn't take it anymore. In fact, I think he has 62% of his staff has already turned over in 2 years. That's unbelievable. That's a shocking, ridiculous number because a lot of people couldn't stomach this. And so Pompeo has made his bed, and he's decided that I'm going to do bonesaw Salman's bidding because Donald Trump told me to. And I like power too much to give it up. So I'm now gonna do cover-ups for fundamentalist Muslims who dismember people. Okay, so that's the bed you're lying in.
One more clip from this interaction with Pompeo.
The CIA says that they're highly confident that the Saudi crown prince did order the murder of Khashoggi.
Yeah, some of the reporting that you've seen on that has been inaccurate.
Is that
That's
inaccurate?
Look, we all know they're still working on this. This is still a developing set of facts with respect to the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. The intelligence community is working diligently on that. The direct evidence, this is what I've said before, the direct evidence isn't yet available. It may show up tomorrow. It may have shown up overnight, and I haven't seen it. But
someone
President
has to pay
Trump
the price, though. It's so brutal. Apparently, those audio tapes are awful.
The Saudis have already paid the price. There are the folks who actually committed the murder. We've held accountable. We will continue to do that. No one underestimates how horrible this murder was. But remember, Iran is running rampant throughout the Middle East. The death of any one individual is awful. The death of hundreds of thousands of people in Europe or the Middle East or the United States matters an awful lot. And President Trump is committed to protecting America.
So Pompeo's arguing that, well, Mohammed bin Salman didn't actually do the murder. He just ordered it, right? I mean, that's what he's implying there. So no big deal. So would he feel the same about, I don't know, drug cartel leaders? I mean, if they're ordering the murders and they're not actually carrying it out themselves, do we really want to go after the people ordering the murder? I mean, what a like it's such a stupid thing to say.
Yeah, so I'm going to say something totally unexpected, which is give credit to Brian Kilmeade, because he actually did a really great thing there. Other than holding him accountable 3 different times in that interview, at the end there he said, we disagree with some portions or some of the reporting on that has not been accurate. And Kilmeade did a good follow-up question there of saying, but wait, when they said they have a high confidence that bin Salman ordered it, was that part inaccurate? And of course, Pompeo didn't answer it, and he went right past it, and then went, yeah, okay, Saudi Arabia's terrible, but Iran's worse. Remember how much fear-mongering we're doing around Iran. And finally, the idea that we've already punished the Saudis is, again, sickening yet hilarious. I mean, it's a sick joke. So what do? We did sanctions against the 17 people that we believe were on the assassination team. They're low-level guys in Saudi Arabia, and now they will not be able to enter the United States again. Wow, we made the bold move of not allowing known assassins into the country. Well, I didn't know you guys were gonna be that bold. Okay. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.